Okay, let's go ahead and review where we are. So I'm going to hit green. Grass shows up very rapidly. That's something I'm going to talk about in a second. And when my little gigas show up, they eat the grass. And if a blade of grass is consumed, it immediately gets recreated. So let's keep an eye on our little grass here, our little gigas here. Getting very unlucky at eating things. There we go. So as soon as a blade of grass is consumed, this number sticks at 50. Why? Because a new blade of grass is being created instantly. So one of my problems actually is that I want to have a delay between new blades of grass being formed. So here's a way to do that. I'm going to hit Control and I'm going to just put a wait some amount of time between a new blade of grass being created. So now one blade of grass is created each second. But instead of having a hardwired number in here, I probably should create another global variable so I can play with it later. So I'm going to go to my variables. I'm going to create a new variable, which is delay between grass. Delay between grass grow. It's for all sprites. And it says the name is already in use. Why is that? It's because I've been playing with this program so much. But I'm going to make a new variable, delay between grass. We'll just do that, okay? And I'm going to set delay between grass to 0.2 of a second. And now when I go to my grass, I'm going to use that variable. Instead of saying wait 1 second, I'm going to say delay between grass. Okay, this is the one I created earlier. And we're just going to delete this for clarity. Okay, so now let's go ahead and watch our thing grow. And we can see that the grass grows a little bit slower. And I'm going to hide that variable. All right, so that's one change I want to make. Another change I want to make is I want to make sure that my gigas can have children. So I'm going to need to create several different variables for this, which is how many kids should gigas have? So these are global variables. So one global variable is giga kid limit. So how many kids can gigas have? This is for all sprites. And I'm going to say that the total number of kids that gigas should have is 3. And then the other thing I should say is what age do they have to be before they can have kids? So I'm going to make another variable, which is age before, or age of giga parenthood. So this is for all sprites. So I'm going to say that you have to be at least 7. They live to be 10, right? So 7 before they actually have children. Okay, so let's check this out. And they have a number of kids that they can have. So the other thing I need to do is I need to create a local variable. So, which is, this is for this sprite only. How many gigas have I had? Okay, so this is as a parent. How many gigas have I had? So I'm going to set how many gigas have I had to 0 when I show up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a new if statement. So if I'm old enough to have kids, so if my age, my giga age is greater than the age gigas have kids, age of giga parenthood, then I'm going to have some kids. Now, how many kids am I going to have? I'm going to have, well, I'm going to put in another if statement here. You'll see it's sort of a nested if statement, and it's important that you do it this way. So it's if and then another if. So if I've had fewer than 3 kids, keep having kids. So I'm going to say if my number of kids, my offspring number, how many kids have I had? How many gigas have I had? If the number of gigas I have had is, it should be less than. If the number of gigas I have had is less than the amount of gigas I can have, giga kid limit, then go ahead and have gigas. So create a clone of myself. And I better do one other thing, which is I better count how many gigas I've had, because otherwise I'll just have infinite gigas. So change how many gigas have I had by 1. So you're going to see this is going to go create just 3 kids doing this nested if statement. So if my age is greater than the parenthood age, then if I have had fewer than my limit of kids, then create a clone of myself and change my count by 1. Okay? So let's go ahead and see what happens. Let's get rid of some of these variables. And so we just have our 2 main variables here, and we're going to launch a Giga. So far we've got 1. Okay, 0. Did not live long enough to have kids. Okay, did not live long enough to have kids. Wonder what this is. If my Giga age is greater than the age of parenthood. Oh, age of Giga parenthood should not be 0. I need to set that to something. So I'm going to go to my variables here. Age of Giga parenthood is, oh, I forgot to hit this. Okay, so now should be running. Okay, he probably starved to death. He's definitely had a lot of food, so he should have children. Or she. Aha, children. Excellent. Okay, and lots of kids are showing up, which is perfect. And we can see that we've got sort of this stable-ish system going here. We've got 28 kids, 21 back down to 11. So we've got a stable biological system, which was kind of our goal. And you can play with the variables that you have here, and a lot of things will change. For example, how much energy is in the grass. If you put a lot more energy in the grass, you'll end up with a lot more gigas. And there are a lot of things you can change and play with in this scenario. We'll talk more about this in class.